Hey, welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. We got a great show. We're excited about this show. I don't know. I every once in a while, like there's certain topics that I do very little research, and I'm just going to like talk from the heart. Yeah. And this one's kind of one of those.
I feel the same way. You know,
you brought in props.
I've had these things for 50 years.
Yeah. I mean, some of those are from the 60s, right?
Yeah, 67, 68. Absolutely.
Yeah. I see Silver Surfer there, 66.
Yep.
So, I mean, and I did a timeline thing because I was just curious, the way I do my trivia show, I do a lot of timeline things. And so I have material for future trivia shows.
Okay. I better pay attention.
And I'm excited. I have some fun word origins.
Okay.
That are words that came out of comic books, that are just normal words now, but they came out of comic books and they're in our everyday conversation.
I'm so proud of you for linking your word origins to our themes the way I try to do.
I felt like you were outdoing me in that one.
Well, it's not a competition.
But it's in the delivery.
Well, that's why.
And I'm the sales. I'm the Mr. Haney. And if you missed that reference, you're not over the age of 50.
Right.
And you didn't watch Green Acres, and you probably never saw Hee Haw.
Right.
So, did you ever watch Green Acres or Hee Haw?
Arnold Ziffel was Arnold Ziffel? Absolutely.
Good. I wasn't sure if they made it to Long Island.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a shopping center called Green Acres.
Was there really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better. That's even better. All right, we got to talk about our amazing sponsors because we have some incredible sponsors. One of them we're sipping today, the Saint. The small batch, the Saint from St. Augustine Distillery. St. Augustine Distillery and City Gate Spirits. I was drinking City Gate Spirits in the previous Mike Davis show. I got St. Augustine Distillery on this one. So
you're one ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm one ahead of you.
All right.
We're going to go with one ahead of you. All right. And then we have also on sponsor row, Meehan's Irish Pub. I mean, excited about the wings coming back. Sad about the chicken bites maybe going away.
Yep.
And we're gonna have to.
We can lobby Reggie. I think we can work on him a little bit.
Yeah, I've already had some conversations, not with Reggie, but with some of the other people. They're sad about it too.
All right.
Sad about it too. But we're talking great food, just wonderful staff over there, just super. The ownership cares about it, and it flows down through his staff. And when you're there, you feel welcome every single time.
Yep.
So,
wear your wellies this weekend because of the full moon. Might get a little bit high-tidy.
A little high-tidy.
A little high-tidy. As a matter of fact, as I was driving into the show today, you can see how high the water is in the bay at the seawall.
That's a rookie look. I just got to look in the front yard.
Well, I don't have that fancy house.
Yeah. I got waterfront during high tide.
Yeah. Price should go up then.
All right. Speaking of this, I actually saw Captain Mayhem today.
Ooh, good to know.
Yeah, Captain Mayhem was near the city gate. I stopped and said hello to him. He looks well. Always great to see you. St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Their number one tour guy, Captain Mayhem.
Fun place.
I mean, he knows it inside and out, and there's not a better pirate expert in the world than Captain Mayhem, and an excellent magician.
Ooh,
he's an up close magician. He worked as a magician when he wasn't pirating. All right, I was gonna let you talk about this sponsor, but it has become Blake's new favorite stop.
I'm so happy for him and us.
Kaiser's Deli and Market. Blake, it is in your rotation now. This sponsor has infiltrated the very, very tight rotation of Blake Blevins's food rotation.
Well, Blake, I would like to encourage you to create a sandwich of your own because Kaiser's now started to name sandwiches after people that create them. So if you can come up with something unique and delicious, it could be the Blake.
Oh, I had the rollie the other day.
That's a good one.
I had the
That's
rollie,
a good one.
And Tiant walked in.
Dan or Louie? Dan?
Dan.
Yeah, okay.
Dan walked in.
Yeah.
And Dan was upset that I had the rollie and I didn't have the Tiant. So
Blake, you now have a challenge thrown down. Create something, my young friend.
All right. Also let Kaiser know.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can do a Blevins boy because El Tiant is after Louie and Dan.
Yeah.
So we can.
And that is a damn good sandwich. For those of you who don't know, it's a Cuban sandwich named after Louis Tiant, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, and the sandwich is delicious.
Yeah.
House-cured pork, marinated, roasted, little bit of ham on it, the pork, some Havarti Swiss, daddle pickles, pressed. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
It's a damn good Cuban. One of the best Cubans in town.
I tell you this, the rolly was crazy good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they
100%.
definitely should have had a Kaiser's Deli stand to sell the El Tiante at Fenway.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
yeah. I did the
Boog's
Cuban
barbecue,
up there.
yeah.
I did the Cuban
Yeah.
up there. But what did you have this week, Blake?
I actually did have the El Tiante.
You had the El Tiante. There you go.
Very good.
Yeah, but my usual go to is the White Street.
Okay.
But with no vegetables, but add salt, pepper, oil, and vinegar with a bag of chips and a glass of Dell's lemonade.
Dell's lemonade is good.
It is
good
so
stuff.
good.
Yep. New England's finest. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
And plus, make sure you get your punch card as well.
All right,
Good point.
We need to stop talking about it because I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
thinking the same thing.
we still got one more restaurant to talk about that also has amazing food. To me, the best breakfast in town, located on St. George Street, the Roosevelt Room. The Roosevelt Room and event space. These guys do it right. They have an amazing chef in there. They have a candied bacon. And I don't think, Blake, you haven't tried the candy bacon yet, have you?
I have not, but now you just made my water like
Your mouth is watering now.
It's
All right,
just
we're gonna have to possibly stop in there this weekend and get you some candy bacon over there.
We might have to stop the show to go over there right now because it sounds so
They're-
good.
they're-
No, they close at 3.
They're not open right now. They're only open for
Breakfast and lunch.
Unless we sneak into one of their private
You
events.
could probably come in through the back door into the kitchen.
Yeah, yes. I'm sure they'll be fine with that.
That's all right.
All right,
I
but
clean up.
they have amazing event space, up to 75 people. They got some cool stuff coming up. We're going to have some announcements to do with that, so keep an eye on our page for that. But just another great family, St. Augustine family. I'm going to consider them on part of Sponsor Row. I'm going to give them our south side of Sponsor Row.
Yeah, we can stretch it out a little bit for them. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Not on Sponsor Row, but very, very vital to our livelihood. Abare, Kresge, and Associates. These guys are amazing. They've been my accountants for decades. I appreciate them. I mean, because they educate me every year. Because laws change, and the IRS switches up some things, and if I didn't have them, I wouldn't know to take advantage of certain things. You just leave it out there. And it isn't like the IRS is coming back to you to give you money.
I like my accountant. That's all I'm saying.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So, and these guys are the best. I have a very confusing return because I have so many different businesses and I do so many different things. So it's, I appreciate their ability to manage me and to manage everyone else that their clients, because they take the same good care of everyone else that they do me.
And you obviously have a very strong trust level for them, and that's very key with your accountant in this day and age.
100%. All right, Coquina Coast Realty. Coquina Coast Realty, phone number is 904-669-7901. That's 904-669-7901. Ask for Troy. I heard he's great.
I did notice you didn't have to look at anything to read that number,
With the phone number?
Right.
It's one of two phone numbers I know.
which is impressive because nobody knows phone numbers anymore. They know
no.
how to push a button.
No, it's one of two phone numbers I know by heart.
Okay.
All right. But Coquina Coast, we actually have a house for sale. We have some rentals out there. We do rental properties. We do commercial. We do residential. A lot of stuff going on at Coquina Coast. Give me a call if you want to get involved in the real estate game. All right. Word origins.
You or me?
I tell you what. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Well, because we're doing comics today, I'm going to start with The Flash
Okay.
in a pan.
Flash in a pan.
Correct.
Okay. A flash in a pan.
Right.
Different than the Flash.
Right. Much slower. Absolutely.
Yeah,
much slower.
Yeah.
Flash in the pan is sort of something that's one and done. It's you do something well, but you don't do it again. You don't replicate or repeat it. But it actually comes from the days, which is more close to the history of St. Augustine, to blunderbusses and old style weapons that you had to actually ignite the main charge with a smaller charge.
Yeah, with
so
the
there would
flint.
be there'd be a little flash pan there, and
Yeah.
it could be, or if you're Blackbeard, you could just pull a cigarette or a cheroot out of your beard and light it up. But you have a little bit of gunpowder in your flash pan, and then that goes down and ignites the major charge, which then expels the bullet.
So it basically gives you a one-time.
Correct. Which
Yeah.
is why it's a one and done type of thing. So a lot of times it would not work out so well because you would light it, and if it failed, it didn't light the charge, and your gun didn't shoot the bullet out, and you better duck really quick. Is all I'm saying in that case. So a flash in the pan is a one and done.
Okay. No, and I'll tell you this: when you said flash in the pan, and I don't know if it's because you're a chef and you're such a good cook and everything. I immediately went to cooking.
Interesting. Okay.
So flash that in the pan
Right.
one or two times, get that sizzle on
You
it.
can flash fry, sure.
Yeah, flash
Absolutely.
fry. And that's where I thought it was. And so I hadn't completely makes sense with the old flint locks and, the stuff like that. But I had it completely associated with cooking.
Yep. And it's not, strangely.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't always consider myself a brainiac.
We'll get to him later.
But that term is pretty regular now.
Flash in the pan, yeah.
No, Brainiac.
Oh, well, there you go.
Brainiac
Okay.
is directly from Superman. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that, but it was the super duel in space.
He was a bad guy.
He was an evil villain in 1958.
Yep.
So I somewhat remember the character, but I didn't associate with, that's where that term came from.
Yeah.
So, and the term Brainiac came from a villain
Yeah.
that Superman
Yeah.
fought in 1958.
Yeah.
So, well, you were a Brainiac last night.
We did pretty well.
Yeah.
We did pretty well.
At least your team was. I don't know how much
Well,
you
that's it.
helped.
They carry me.
Yeah.
They carry me.
Oh, no, we know.
They carry me.
We know.
It's only a matter of choosing the right people to play with.
Did you get all the states right?
We did. We got all the state. We even got, once I stopped thinking Hungary and realized it was Czechoslovakia, we got the capitals correct as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I got caught up on Hungary. But
Okay.
I pulled it out at the last minute.
Well, we
had
talked
some
about a lot
guides.
of restaurants. That's probably why you're hungry.
Always.
So, all right, what do you got?
Well, in honor of Stan Lee, and as we talk about the comics, I am definitely much more a Marvel person than a DC person. And, I've got 6, 7 comics on the board here. One of them is a DC comic, Justice League of America, which encompasses many of their superstar characters. But I'm a Marvel guy. And, Stan Lee had a motto. He had a bunch of them, but his one was Excelsior. And that's how he would, answer questions, sign things, and it was great. And basically, Excelsior comes from the Latin excelsius, which is higher or lofty, and it's just to keep striving upward. It also happens to be shredded paper or shredded wood. That the Excelsior shredded paper, which became a name brand for a little while instead of a generic, is used to package things. So when you get all that shredded paper, before they did packing peanuts of styrofoam,
before there was styrofoam,
it would be shredded paper was Excelsior, and also they would use Excelsior as wood chips to fill pillows at one point in time. Wood shavings.
Wow.
And coincidentally, it's the state motto of the state of New York.
Yeah, I wouldn't want my pillow to have wood shavings.
No.
I don't want termites that close to my head.
As opposed to the chiggers that were all over,
in
St.
the
Augustine
moss,
with the Spanish were down here.
Spanish
Exactly,
moss,
yeah. And it's the state motto of the state of New York.
Excelsior?
Excelsior, yeah.
Okay. When did it become the state motto?
That I don't know, but it's been quite for some time.
Okay.
And it just means strive to
Because Stan Lee
upwards.
really didn't. I mean, Stan Lee has been involved in, we're going to go into the history of it, since 1939 in comic books and stuff like that. But he really didn't hit his stride until the 50s or 60s, like really strong hit his stride.
Yep.
So I'm just wondering when Excelsior, if it came directly from or if Stanley grabbed it and made it a part of our comic.
What's interesting, because he was a New Yorker. He was born in New York, lived in New York until, he hit the real big time, which was much later with the movies and things, and moved out to West Hollywood.
Yeah.
And
what was
lived and died
what was
in Hollywood.
his real last name?
Lieber.
Lieber.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming.
Stan Lee Lieber, and he took Stan Lee from Stan Lee.
Yeah.
That's how he got the pseudonym Stanley.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason he did that actually was because he always had the aspiration to write the great American novel. And if he did that, he was going to write it under his given birth name. He was of Romanian descent. He wanted to do it under his given name, and he figured if he was doing comics under that, nobody would take his great American novel seriously. So he created the pseudonym Stan Lee for his comic work, in the anticipation of writing the great American novel under Stanley Lieber.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And my last word, and this is a cartoon I loved growing up, but it's not a DC and it's not a Marvel.
Okay.
Okay. It's Popeye.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
And the term, I didn't realize the first time this term came in to everyday conversation, a goon.
Okay.
All right. And it came from Popeye in a 1933 comic of Popeye. And everybody knows what a goon is now. You know, it's a big dope oaf.
Your son, the hockey fan, was just talking about
He's talking about goons. Yeah. He's talking about goons in hockey. And like, you know, it's the big kind of muscle.
The enforcer.
In the group. But that term didn't exist until Popeye.
What was the context?
It was called a goonie, and it was like a big dumb oaf character, and it was a Gony, not like the Goonies. And even the movie The Goonies reverts back to this being a goon.
Now, was that Bluto at the time?
No, it was completely different.
There was another character?
It wasn't Brutus. It was kind of the bald one with a round face. Can you pull up the goon from 33? Maybe we can see it on the screen. I don't know if you can pull it up from Popeye, but it was a kind of a balding, round-faced character, and that's where that term comes from. And if you say goon now, everybody knows what a goon is.
Right.
So doesn't take a brainiac.
Stick with us on Bollox. You learn something every week. I learn something every week.
It doesn't take a brainiac to figure that out.
There you go.
All right. So you went and you brought in props.
I brought in
over
some,
there.
Yeah.
You brought in some really, really cool stuff. What's the oldest comic book you have over there right now?
The oldest one here.
Microphone. Pull it with you.
Oh,
There
come
you
with
go.
it? Is the like my voice doesn't carry? Is this Captain America, which is number 100, which is Captain America big premiere issue? He gets his own magazine at last, and I believe this is from 1967.
Okay.
This is the April 1968 issue, Volume 1, number 100, and was copyrighted in 1967.
All right. Blake, what you got? You got to talk in the microphone. I hear you, but
Oh no, I didn't say anything.
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You must be hearing things, Dad. What's going on? Does Lenny have a superpower that you don't know about?
I think Lenny's stealing my hearing. All right. So that book is the same age as me.
Wow.
Okay. So that's 56 years old.
I think you're in a little bit better shape, but this is kind of held up in all candor.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Here, can I hold it?
Mm-hmm, of course.
Okay. I got to put my glasses on because I'm 56.
There you go.
Oh, and it's got like Thor down here and Iron Man.
Yeah.
All right. But Captain America actually came in 1941.
He was around for a while, yeah.
He was one of the first ones in there. Oh, this is incredible, man.
Notice the price on it.
12 cents.
I have a couple I don't think with me here that were 10
Oh, there's
cents.
Ant-Man up there.
Yep.
Wow, this is great.
That was, people will tell you. I remember how much a hot
get
dog
that
was.
out of my hand because I know it's worth more than 12 cents now. It's got a little bit of dings on it, and there's people that are like, it has to be in mint condition and stuff like that. But those are people that didn't enjoy the comic books, right?
Right. No, you got to read them. This is not unopened in the box action figure. This is I read this. I walked through. I lived around the corner from a luncheonette called the Laurel Luncheonette, and comics would come in on Tuesday, and I would walk around the corner on Tuesday and spin that revolving wire rack around and pick out my comics. When I started, they were 10 cents. They went to 12 cents. It was a shock. 15 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents. When they started getting up to $1.25, I was old enough to say I can pass on this, and I was much more selective of the comics I would buy. But I have a selection here. I've got a Conan that's Conan the Barbarian. It's a giant size one, mind you.
Yeah. Oh, that's big.
That's 50 cents.
That's a big one.
Giant size.
Doesn't even
Power
look
Man.
like Arnold.
Here, hold up the cover to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yep. It's a giant
thick.
size.
It's giant size, so it's got double.
You know, the Justice League of America, this DC comic, was 20 cents.
Whew.
And that was in October. It'll tell you when inside here.
Well, the Justice
This was 72, so this is they moved
Justice League
along.
started in 60.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, I was not a huge comic book person.
Oh,
All right, I was not. I was a baseball card guy, so I could read every stat off the back of every baseball card. Like I knew when I was between 8 and 14, I pretty much could tell you who hit what and what. I could give you birthdays of players and stuff like that. Like I know Johnny Bench is December 7th, 1947. I know. Nolan Ryan is January 31st. These are things that I cared about. So I knew baseball. I didn't get into comic books really ever in my life, but I love Marvel movies and I love the Justice League because I would wake up and that was on until they brought in those stupid twins, the Wonder Twins. That was horrible. Yeah. Form of a pail. I don't even know what that means. So.
Did you flip your baseball cards with your friends?
No.
Okay.
No. I actually, I coveted my baseball cards. Unfortunately, I left my baseball cards out because I would set up all-star teams.
Right.
And I left them out on the floor, and my mom warned me, and she threw out some of my baseball cards. I lost to Mickey Mantle.
I feel your pain, as did I with my mother, who denied throwing them away, but they disappeared magically.
I think I lost a rookie, Pete Rose. I know I lost a Hank Aaron in there somewhere. Yeah. But I mean, kids.
I can still taste the gum in a package of Tops. That pale pink chalk dusted thing.
It would actually crunch.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would break apart, and sometimes, and if you got them, and I still have boxes of baseball cards and football cards at home, unopened cases and boxes of baseball cards. I'm just a little bit of a hoarder, I guess. But I lost. I was telling you a little bit earlier, in a flood in my basement in Long Beach one year, I lost the majority, if not almost all, my baseball cards. I lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comic books. I lost 1,000 menus that I had collected in my career as a chef, and 400 or 500 cookbooks.
Oh my gosh!
In one flood. Devastating.
Did the hot water heater burst? Or?
No, it was just, and it was interesting because it had rained for 7 days, and there had been no problem in my basement until the 8th day, and I went down every day to check, and nothing. And what happened was, and it's a similar issue we have here in St. Augustine with the water table.
Once it hits its point,
it covers the storm drain, the outflows into the intercoastal, which was a similar situation there.
Yeah.
And then the water backs up, and it backs up into the sewer system and the storm drain system, and it was like 7 days we made it. On the 8th day, I went downstairs and things were literally floating in 4 feet of water in my basement.
It's heartbreaking.
We had gotten there. Oh, it was traumatic.
Yeah, I had a hot water heater, and like I said, I wasn't into comic books a whole lot, but I had a hot water heater that I had I bet I had 20. I mean, not a whole lot, like 20 comic books, and I read them over and over and over again. But I had 20. And I had a hot water heater burst while I was living in Orlando, and they were in the same closet. And it took them out. It took out some other stuff that I had, but I mean, luckily my baseball cards were. I had too many of those to fit in that closet.
Right.
So luckily my baseball cards.
Do you still have them?
There. Oh yeah.
Oh, outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding.
Blake still enjoys going through and doing my baseball cards.
Yes. So most of the so some of the lesser value ones are currently underneath my bed, but the good ones are in the safe.
Yeah, we have them in the safe.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, we got
the commons are I'd say a dime a dozen, but they're less than a penny a piece.
Yeah, I mean, even with they're less than that. And I have a ton of commons, but I mean, I have some that I probably haven't went through that might not be commons anymore. You know, like you put them away,
Right.
and then you go back and this person became great after his.
That's why he won his rookie cards.
Yeah,
That's right.
So
I think we got a topic for a couple of shows from now.
Yeah. So Blake, what's the best card I have over there? Is it a Barry Bonds rookie?
I think it's either a Barry Bonds rookie or a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie.
Yeah. So
I
have several of the Ken Griffey Jr. ones, and I just have a couple of the Bonds.
Tops or upper deck?
I have both, and I have Bowman.
Bowman's the best one.
The Bowman of Ken Griffey Jr. is the one that he's talking about. That one because it came out right out of high school.
Okay.
For him, and it was the very first card that he had, and it was a Bowman card.
Yeah, I've got a couple of pages in plastic of Ken Griffey Jr. rookies on upper deck.
And when I was younger, it was 100% tops.
Yeah. Well, that's when we were younger. That's all there was.
That's all it was.
And then you got Fleer,
I have a tobacco card that's from the 20s.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Ty Cobb?
No. Yeah. I wouldn't be selling my house to buy the farm if I had that card.
Right, you'd have them keep them both.
Yep.
Knowing you wouldn't be selling the card.
No, I wouldn't be selling the card.
Come on, nice try though.
I wouldn't be selling the card. All right, back to our topic today. We're talking about comics, and we're talking about the history of Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
But I knew you had that nailed down so much, so I wanted to go a little further back of some of the origins of it. And the first one I found was a comic strip of superheroes in the Chicago Tribune.
Okay.
It was in the newspaper, the Chicago Tribune, and it was in 1902, and it was Hugo Hercules. All right, exactly. So,
wow.
And Hercules, as I went through the whole timeline, kept popping through here and there in different times. What your DC started like in the mid 30s, right?
It started as the National Comics Publications in 1935, then became National Periodical Publications in 1961. Mm-hmm. It's the same company, and then changed the name to DC in 1977, and they were bought by Warner Brothers Discovery in 1989.
All right.
Same. Just a transition.
And the timeline on Marvel started in 1939 as Timely.
Correct.
And it's changed hands.
Became Atlas Comics in 1951. Mm-hmm. They became Marvel Comics in 1961, and then Marvel got bought by Disney in 2009, and it's still Marvel Comics.
All right, so I wanted to predate some of those dates and come up with some that we're going to recognize, the names we're going to recognize.
Sure.
And I stuck to kind of superheroes and people along those lines. All right, the next one that I really kind of knew about was Tarzan the Ape Man, appeared in a magazine in 1912.
I'm trying to remember when he wrote the book. Huh, okay.
Yeah, so I think the book was written in the 1880s, right?
I think so, late 1800s.
Yeah. And then Zorro, first appeared also in a magazine,
really?
little short comic, in 1919.
Okay.
All right, but these are things that I can associate with, and that's why I'm bringing them because they're ones that I could connect with. All right, Buck Rogers.
In the 21st century.
Yes, Buck Rogers, 1929. Also 1929, Popeye the Sailor Man. And I could associate with Popeye because he was short and he was kind of,
but he ate spinach.
He was built like me, but I didn't like spinach as a kid, but I like it now.
Yeah, much more than broccoli, absolutely.
Yeah. I like spinach now.
Yeah, but we definitely like spinach much more than peas.
Oh, I do not like peas.
That's why you have to have mashed potatoes.
I don't like the texture of peas.
Yeah. So
what's one of the foods that you don't eat? And it's not the flavor; it's just the way it's prepared, or it's just the way.
Yeah, I'm not a big broccoli fan just because it's broccoli. But peas, if you have enough mashed potatoes to soak them up in, that's not bad. But mushy peas, like from the British, I don't get that.
I can handle the peas in the shepherd's pie.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. I mean, if I see them. I'll kind of move them to the side. but I usually can just man through it.
See, when I was younger, I couldn't go near a lima bean. But nowadays, you do succotash with enough butter and black pepper, and it is just pretty groovy.
Yeah.
But that gets mushy too. It's a texture thing.
Speaking of lima beans, were you the guy that your parents said, okay, finish those and you can do this, and you kind of spread them around a little bit? That's one time I wish I had a dog.
Yep.
I love lima beans now.
Yeah, lima beans great.
But lima beans was one of our regular things. That was one of our regular sides. Like I grew up. My dad was a butcher. We had a pig farm and we were a butcher. So I always had.
Was it really offal?
Offal.
Offal.
What are you going with?
Organ meat.
Organ meat.
Offal.
Offal. No.
Okay.
No. We had good food.
Okay.
No, we really had good. I mean, I can tell you, we had the best steaks, and we had and we that was the good thing about being a butcher's son.
Yeah.
The not so fun things is having to slaughter the pigs.
Yeah. Okay.
Not pretty.
Did he do beef or just pork primarily?
No. He did.
Because I know you live next to a pig farm.
He did everything.
Right.
It was,
okay.
And the beauty of our pig farm is it was at a separate location than our house.
Okay.
So we had to drive to the pig farm, but the pig farm didn't have water. So I would have to wake up. My job was to fill up the 55-gallon drums before school. Then my dad would go water the hogs, because you have to water hogs because they don't sweat. Pigs don't have sweat glands. That's why they waller around all the time.
Right.
All right. So we had to water the hogs, and my dad would go water the hogs. I'd walk to school, and then that was my job. But fortunately, the pig farm was not where my house was.
Whew.
Pig farm smelled awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was out in the middle of nowhere. So, but no, as a butcher's son, but we always had two sides. One was usually corn, the other one was lima beans. And I was okay with the corn, but lima beans.
Yeah, but never mix them together to make succotash?
Why ruin good corn?
I'm telling you, enough butter and black pepper, and it's great.
Now I agree with you.
Okay.
Now I agree with you. But when 8-year-old Troy,
well, yeah, right, 8-year-old anybody, it wasn't just you, my friend. I will allay that. Yeah.
All right. So here's a couple more that predate DC
and Marvel
Marvel that are ones that stuck in my brain. The Lone Ranger.
Yep.
All right. 1933. It was on radio. And Dick Tracy.
Ooh.
1931.
Talk about prescient. Can you imagine everybody who's talking into their freaking Apple Watch? Two-way wrist
So far
radio.
ahead.
Oh, my goodness. 6 to an even, over and out.
Yeah. I mean,
oh, goodness.
Get Smart and Dick Tracy were way ahead of their time.
Except the Apple Watch beats the shoe phone.
Oh, yeah. Way better. You don't even have to take off your shoe to talk on the Apple Watch. So.
And that was just so prescient.
Mm-hmm. All right, another one that was early is Green Hornet and Kato came out in 1936. That was one of the very earliest ones. So
not to be confused with the Pink Panther and Kato.
Yeah, no, yeah. It was just sneak attack.
That's exactly right.
All right, Conan the Barbarian, 1932.
Yep. L. Ron Howard, yeah.
Not to be confused with Arnold.
Right.
So I thought those were some of the fun
Howard.
ones.
It wasn't L. Ron.
Flash Gordon was a newspaper comic, also in 1934.
Brutus Ming the Merciless and the Fu Manchu Mustache.
Yep. But the first big, which we know today, was 1938 Superman in DC Comics. So he was like the first real breakthrough superhero.
Action Comics #1. Yep.
Yeah. And then Batman came along a year later.
A year later, right.
Yeah.
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster created Superman, and Bob Kane created Batman.
All right, who wins, Batman or Superman? DC question: who wins, Batman or Superman?
You know what? I don't even think I've seen that movie where they beat each other up. Mm-hmm. Batman's got the smarts, but Superman's got the superpowers. It's a tough call.
Yeah.
Of course, Batman may be smart enough to keep a little kryptonite around.
That's what I'm saying.
Just to get him right.
Superman's got a weakness. I mean, Batman really has no superpowers.
Correct.
Except being rich.
Yeah.
Him and Iron Man are pretty much the same.
Right.
They have really no powers.
Well,
they're just brilliant.
Tony Stark now has his little nuclear reactor heart.
Yeah, but he created himself.
Right.
Okay? Right. So they're both brilliant and extremely wealthy.
That helps. It really does.
Okay? Yeah. So they really don't have superpowers. Right. All right? So I'm going with the brains. So I'm taking Batman over Superman.
I'll buy that.
Okay.
I'll buy that.
All right.
Where would you rather go, to the Fortress of Solitude or the Batcave?
Oh, the Fortress of Solitude, so much cooler.
It's a little bit.
It's a little chilly.
Literally so much cooler.
But it's chilly. It's chilly, but still.
It's cooler by definition.
I'm not a bat fan. But
Okay.
Okay, I don't like bats. Are one of the things that kind of creep me out a little bit. I don't understand why a rat has wings. It just doesn't make sense to me. What Noah was thinking about, like, okay, this is why I question a lot of things. Is
All right.
animals that survived Noah's Ark. So first off, the mosquito makes no freaking sense. There's no way the mosquito makes it onto my ark. All right.
Well, it was so small, nobody saw him.
Oh, they just
Snuck right in there.
Stowaway.
Yep.
Is that what happened with the bat too?
I don't know. The bat was probably hanging upside down from a rafter, and nobody looked up.
Yeah, no. Questioning it.
Right.
So, is it time for us to read? We got to do sponsor reads again.
Okay. It's all good.
And then I want to go through your comic books over there, the different ones you have, because they are super cool. And when you bring props and you have coins,
I got everything.
So, all right, we're going to talk about Coquina Coast Realty. Give us a call, 904-669-7901. And as you guys are watching the show, check out our sponsors as they're rolling through there. These are the guys that pay the bills, that keep us on the air, and we appreciate them so much. Abare, Kresge and Associates, appreciate you guys. These are the best CPAs in town. If you need a CPA, you want to start a new business, you think you're doing your own taxes and you're doing yourself a favor, you're not. Give them a call. All right. Roosevelt Room. The Roosevelt Room located on St. George Street. Best breakfast and lunch in town, downtown St. Augustine. You're bringing family in town. You want a good place to go to breakfast or even lunch. Make sure you stop in the Roosevelt Room. You will not be disappointed in that food. If you're doing a small event under 75 people, they're the people you need to call. They'll take care of you. They'll talk you through the whole process. Have an amazing chef that'll work around whatever dietary needs you have, and they'll take care of it.
And enjoy the comfy potatoes that they cook in duck fat. Those are so good.
Yeah.
Oh, they're delicious.
I've not had anything that I have not liked there. So, all right. Kaiser's Deli. They have a avocado toast. Did you try that?
At the Roosevelt Room? No, I got to go back for it. I will.
Oh, it's so good. All right, Kaiser's Deli and Market, located on Anastasia Boulevard, just past Gypsy Cab and the Beacon. Beacon's about to change its name.
That's true.
But Kaiser's not going anywhere. Best deli in town. Fresh sandwiches. I'm going to tell you right now, I had the Rolly. Rolly's as good as it gets as far as the sandwich. Might be my favorite sandwich in town right now.
Best pastrami you're going to find in St. Augustine. I'm telling you right now. Best pastrami in St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And try the daddle Reuben. If you want to keep it St. Augustine centric, we've created a daddle Thousand Island dressing to just spice up, and it cuts through some of the richness of the pastrami. And he uses all Boar's Head products too, as a matter of fact. So there's no skimping on quality when you go to Kaiser's.
It's so good. So good.
It's I'm telling you, their food is amazing. Appreciate you, Kaiser, for stepping up and being a part of the show.
Yep.
So make sure you say, hi, Kaiser.
Hi, Kaiser.
Right. And when you go into any of our sponsors, please let them know you heard about it on Bollox, Talks and Tangent, so that they know that we're getting the word out to you and they're getting our business.
Yep, that's 100% true. All right, great people over at the St. Augustine Pirate Museum, Cindy and Captain Mayhem, the whole Croce family. They have over 800 original artifacts there. They have one of the original Jolly Rogers.
Yeah, fabulous.
It's
impressive. It really is.
It's very impressive. It's a wonderful place to take people of all ages. It sounds like, Pirate Museum, it's just for the kids.
No.
I'm telling you right now, if you go in there and you do not learn something when you're in there, I will buy you lunch at Kaiser's.
Ooh. And I hate to say this, because so many places evolve around a gift shop, but the gift shop at the Pirate and Treasure Museum has got some fascinating stuff in there. There's inexpensive things that are for but if you can't find something that you would want for yourself, a sticker for your car, or a gift for somebody there, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah. So, no, it really, they do a fine job. All right, another place, Meehan's Irish Pub. I'm going to let you
My
do
favorite
this one.
place.
Yeah.
People come to town. I have guests in town, and invariably we have at least one meal and cocktails at Meehan's. The Irish cream that they make in-house every day is the best Irish cream whiskey you're ever going to have. The view off of the second story porch overlooking the bay is spectacular.
Johnny's Oyster Bar up there, fresh oysters.
Yep. The backyard is wonderful. Get a fishbowl. Get a friend and get a fishbowl.
Get a fishbowl, get a headache. I love seeing people with those fish bowls, just sharing them, and I'm like, whew.
Right.
That's like drinking a sweet tart.
Right. Call me in the morning.
Yeah.
And when you're there, by the way, just keep your ears posted because, there is some residual haunting in that building. I've done ghost tours in there for years, and there's some spooky stuff that's happened in there. I had a woman on one of my tours who actually saw John Meehan, after he had passed away, God rest his soul, sitting in a corner just watching the business going by, and she was adamant that he was sitting right there. It was very fascinating.
So, all right, not to be outdone, St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits. You're drinking the Saint today.
It. Yes, sir.
It's one of their small batch, and it's a wonderful, wonderful bourbon. You see that, right?
See what?
There's a little
see what, Troy?
Little bug about to fly in your
Troy?
drink. There's a bug flying in your drink.
I can't drink that much.
So
not anymore.
Yep. I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one seeing it.
I was only going to gaslight you for a minute.
I was going to see if that was Ant-Man.
Could be the Wasp. Ouch.
All right. Ooh, yes, it could have been. All right, so you
got a realtor for us?
I started with that one.
What about an accountant?
Oh, I started with those. I had those. I
thought we went right to the Roosevelt Room.
I did. No. I did bottom up.
I should pay attention.
I did bottom up. Well, you were collecting
That's true.
your
That's
props.
very true.
You were collecting your props there.
Okay.
But you have props today, and the coins have been sitting on the table, and I didn't look at them. And I just wanted to kind of check out what this was. So, is that a Spider-Man?
Those one's a Spider-Man and one's a Conan. Double-sided brass coins. Again, well older than you, Blake. And I also have my Foom card.
Your Foom card
Foom.
From the magazine.
Friends of Old Marvel.
Wow. Stan
Lee created a fan club called the Merry Marvel Marching Society.
Yeah. Didn't they have a magazine, the Foom magazine?
There was. They get that, and they're big on calendars. I used to get a Marvel calendar every year.
Okay.
And it was great. Mark ye well these words. The Howell holder of this golden card is authorized to act in the name of Foom, but tremble not, O mortal one. Such peerless power will ne'er be used, lest it be in the cause of justice, and like that.
All right.
Signed by me and Stan Lee.
I don't know if... Oh, you actually signed it too. How old were you when you got your Foom card?
Oh, I must have been 10 or 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's like 600 years old.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, some of my comics go back to 67, 68.
Yeah.
And I was 8 and 9.
Okay.
9 and 10.
Yeah.
I think Blake may have had pictures of the coins to be able to put up, but I don't know.
Yeah, you have the coins pictures?
I can get it up quickly. Real quick.
All right. Let me see your Foom card real
quick.
I want to see that.
Yep.
So I feel like we should be wearing gloves for these.
Trust me.
How close is this signature to your signature today?
Well, funny story. At one point in time, I had to go and get something out of a safe deposit box, and I went and I signed my signature, and it was well after a bank account that I had opened. When you open a bank account in first grade,
yeah,
and you put in $1 a week, $1 a week,
cursive, or you didn't write in cursive yet.
They said this signature doesn't match. I said, when is that signature from? Oh, it was about 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When I was like, I don't know,
when you were
8
1,
or 9,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
First grade, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm writing like an adult, and it was very, very, very bizarre.
Well, you learn cursive. In our day, we learned cursive in like 3rd grade.
Now children don't. Now children don't know what a signature is.
It was up there, and you had the whole board, and then you kind of like stayed between the lines, and you kind of made your way through. I don't even know if they.
No, I don't think they even teach that anymore.
All right, he's got the coins.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, there's both double-sided, and it was great. The fascinating thing is, I knew right where they were when we picked this topic. I knew right where to go get them both. Okay, and I think is impressive.
The good part is they didn't get lost in the flood.
No.
That's a beautiful thing.
No, I kept these a little closer to home.
All right. So you have a magazine there called Sergeant Fury.
Okay, and this is kind of interesting in the fact that last night's free answer for trivia was S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that the free answer goes for a week, so each day there's a different question depending which game you're playing. Mm-hmm. But you asked the question of what organization did Nick Fury run? And it was S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. The Howling Commandos were a comic book, and they were an outgroup of World War II commandos. But if you see the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show nowadays, or the movies with...
Samuel L. Jackson.
Thank you so very much. Mm-hmm. He's got an eye patch.
Yes.
Well, okay, so in that one, Sergeant Fury has both eyes. Mm-hmm. Now, this one, Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, number 129, at last, the origin of Fury's eye patch, and they tell you how he loses his eye.
Oh, wow.
How do you like that? Yeah.
Well, this one is actually called, and I don't know if it's going to affect our algorithms for people to see, but this one is actually called Mission Capture Hitler.
Yeah. Well.
So
Anyway, Threads.
Oh, yeah, lots of Threads. Threads is a wonderful format. You should all be on Threads if you're not watching. Here's the other thing that's really cool, and I love about these old magazines, are the advertisements.
Oh, sea monkeys,
that
baby.
Are inside. All right, and there's a whole section inside these comic books. As you were a child, you never really saw those.
Oh, I read them all. I eventually got sea monkeys from that. By the way, it's never too late to join FOOM.
FOOM is still around. All right, but on the back of this one, and I don't know if you read the back of this one, talking about online education and stuff like that. This one has LaSalle Extension University. So basically, it looks like you could do an education from home. And here are some. And what year was this?
Which one is that? That's a little bit later. That could be early 70s. If it's the dates in the front page bottom under the captions.
Okay, I don't see it. I don't see it there.
Gotcha.
So tell me what year it is, because then I want to read it back, because I want to read the.
This is 1972, November 1972.
Okay, I was in kindergarten.
I was just finishing junior high school.
All right, LaSalle Extension University. Here are the classes you could have taken: complete accounting, income tax, CPA training, bookkeeping, and business management, introduction to business management, drafting, complete drafting, real estate, complete real estate, brokerage and management, diesel mechanics, basic training. These are all things they taught through correspondence.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So I actually found out. Do you know what year it closed?
What, LaSalle Extension?
Yeah.
What year?
Your guess.
I'm going to say it closed in 2001.
Lenny, what's your guess?
I'll say they're still open.
1982.
1982. So they were
not long lived.
okay. So it has Bachelor of Law degree, business law, insurance law. Okay. So I'm going to skip down to the ones that I find interesting. They have hotel and motel management. You know, works in my world. Mm-hmm. All right. Here it says careers for women. 1972.
Okay.
They break it down. Careers for women. Like women couldn't do the other ones.
Very progressive, right? Exactly.
All right. They have a computer programming class on the men's side, but they don't have it on the women's side. Here's what they have for women: accounting, bookkeeping. Oh, they do have computer programming for them. That's wonderful. They were so progressive. Dental office assistant, interior decorating. That's not on the men's side because men obviously have no taste. Right. Real estate, secretarial, and stenotype. And then you can tear this off. You can mail it in. 1972.
Okay.
So I love advertisements from that time. Oh, and this is the famous one.
Go ahead.
In almost every single one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I think I still owe money. It's the one where they send you albums.
Yep.
So Simon and Garfunkel, Black Sabbath is in here.
Wow.
So the Partridge Family, Janis Joplin. So
yeah, at one point in time, Karen Carpenter was known to be the best drummer in the country. You know,
oh, wow.
ahead of John Bonham.
Can we see Lenny's face right now?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. You're holding.
Well,
you were holding it a little higher.
Well, that's because I can't read with. So, but this one. So there's a full page of ads in here. Look at that one. I think you're going to enjoy that one. Not necessary for you in the least. However,
you can have a He-Man voice.
How do you like that?
Wow. Oh wow. Here you go. This one's the Vacutex. Ugly blackheads out in seconds. So you can get
It's
your
fascinating,
blackheads.
yep.
Yeah. No.
Not a sea monkey to be seen yet.
Not a sea monkey, scratchy eyelids.
Oh, jeez.
So no, that's just beautiful. That's
All right.
American.
All right. So it looks like I accidentally went through the LaSalle tangent hole.
Okay.
Oh, did you?
Here, all right. So I'll give you one. Who you think's the most? I'm gonna give you the most famous person that ever went to LaSalle.
And they closed in 82?
Yeah.
They closed in 82.
Just think.
Chicago. I'm gonna say it might be Obama.
No, not even close.
82 is too. That's
Yeah,
too
right.
early for it.
He was a
Too
child
early
back
for it.
then.
Hey,
Absolutely.
All right. So it's actually Colonel Sanders.
Harlan. Harlan, baby.
Yeah. So after serving in the army, he moved to Alabama. Then while working on the railroad, he actually worked as a law correspondent at LaSalle.
Wow, that's
okay.
impressive. But I mean, that's the wonderful thing about like stuff you find.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
It's like a time capsule.
That's the talks and tangents, and the fact that you brought these in is absolutely amazing. All right, and the characters that are on here, it looks like we got Black Panther, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor,
Submariner.
I
I don't believe that's Millie the model, but it's not
Who's
inconceivable.
this?
It could be Millie the model.
Okay,
And then
that's Ant-Man up there.
Right.
All right, so of all the, who's your favorite comic strip superhero?
Comic strip.
And then who's your favorite live, like either on television or
Not
in
comic
movies?
book. Comic book or comic strip?
Comic book. Sorry, not comic strip. Sorry.
You know, I like Sergeant Fury, and there was a guy, Jonah Hex.
Okay.
There are a couple of really off-brand ones. Jonah Hex was a Confederate officer who got disgusted when they wanted him to kill civilians and massacre people, and that's it. He quit. So he became sort of this avenging angel, but he was an anti-hero because he was a bad guy, Confederate guy, and he would go around and do things, and then he became a mystical character, hence the Hex part about it. They did a couple of really bad movies of him. And then there was another one. I got into a couple of these World War II-like comics. There was another one called GI Combat, which followed a Stuart tank group. And it was Lieutenant Jeb Stuart, who was in charge of a Stuart tank. And the ghost of J.E.B. Stuart, the Confederate general, would oversee what was going on with these guys. And they would go and, beat up Panzer tanks and stuff like that. I just finished watching Band of Brothers.
Yes.
Which was just
phenomenal.
Fantastic.
It's a phenomenal series. If
Oh,
you've
my
never
goodness.
seen Band of Brothers.
This is the first time I did it.
And I haven't seen Pacific, and you said it's
Pacific, I encourage you so much. It's gut-wrenching, but it is brilliantly done.
All right, so you're saying Sergeant Fury, as far as your...
The Howling Commandos, yeah.
All right, as far as live, like...
The movies?
In the movies or even in television?
Television, I'm going to go back to Batman, Adam West.
See, I'm television... I liked Adam West, but television, the one that got me hooked, and he's still one of my favorite superheroes, is the Hulk.
Ooh,
during the
Hulk
70s.
smash.
Yeah, during the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like Lou Ferrigno,
right?
And that. So, but I mean, Batman was great. I think that
was just so fun.
I think
so
the villains on that Batman.
Yep.
Was what made it so good.
And it timed out that my mother would say, dinner's ready, and I'd be watching it, and my father would be watching it with me. And we go, 5 more minutes, Mom, because you had to wait for the same bad time, same bad channel for the cliffhanger every show, every episode.
Next week's.
Okay. But, I want to go on a quick tangent.
So television is your Batman.
Absolutely. Adam West Batman. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not the Dark Knight guy.
The best Batman's Adam West.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. So there was an episode on The Big Bang Theory because they were obviously these guys were into comics and action heroes and stuff. And Stan Lee was doing a meet and greet and an autograph signing. So they were all going to go do it. And the character Raj was going, you ever notice that all the characters in Marvel and Stan Lee's characters were all alliterative? It was all Pepper Potts and Peter Parker and J. Jonah Jameson and Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, Silver Surfer, Sue Storm, Stephen Strange. And he went on and on and on and on.
Hey, can you say what's our producer's name?
Blake Blevins. There you go. I have a neighbor who named his son Reed because of Reed Richards.
Well, and Blake, how did you get your name?
Because you wanted me to be a baseball player, and then so when the PA announcer says my name, it sounds cooler.
Oh, okay. That works.
Because I have BLBL. Now
right.
batting, Blake Blevins.
So
That way they couldn't call him Tony Belvins.
no, that would not work. So they go to this autograph signing, and everybody and they come home and they're all felling about what Stanley's personalized. I mean, it was, to Sheldon, Stan Lee, Excelsior, to Leonard, Stan Lee, Excelsior, to Howard Wolowitz, Stan Lee, and he Excelsior at all of them. To Raj, Stan Lee. And because he said, well, you had to ask him why all of it. Well, there was actually a rationale to why Stan Lee did all these alliterative names. Mm-hmm. He had a very, very poor memory. So he figured as a mnemonic device, if he did it with alliteration, it would make it easier for him to remember the characters' names.
Okay.
And that was his rationale behind doing all this alliterative stuff.
Wow.
It was pretty fun. And, and I found that out today doing my research, as opposed to seeing that episode, which I think is just hysterical because it's Dr. Doom, Millie the Model, the Fantastic Four, the Green Goblin. It was just on and on and on.
All right. So movies, the Marvel movies are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite character in the Marvel movies?
I'm kind of partial to Star-Lord. Mm-hmm. I like the Guardian of the Galaxy's movies.
I love the Guardian.
I think he's just such
a huge fan of 3.
No, but the first one was so poignant, and when you find out the whole backstory about his father being an alien, and the whole thing, plus let alone the soundtrack in it, all 3 of them, the soundtracks are phenomenal. Amazing. So when you put it all together, it's great, and you get Groot.
Yeah,
you get Groot.
Groot came. I didn't realize Groot of the Guardian of the Galaxy. He was one of the first ones. Of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord didn't come in until the 70s.
When I go home and tell Julie that, she's not going to believe us.
Groot came in 1960.
Julie's not going to believe it.
Drax came in and Drax beat Star-Lord.
Wow.
So.
And have you seen any of the Baby Groot things?
Oh, Groot's one of my favorite.
If you go to the Disney Channel, they've got a whole thing of Baby Groot. Mm-hmm. They're 3 or 4 minute animated vignettes with Baby Groot. Mm-hmm. Hysterical.
Well, and one of my favorites is in Guardians of the Galaxy, they go into, I'm drawing a blank, Bradley Cooper character.
Rocket.
Rocket.
Right.
Rocket.
Yeah. Number 3, that's the origin story of him.
Origin story of Rocket. But I couldn't find in the timeline where Rocket came into the mix.
Was he created just for the movie, perchance?
I don't know. Mantis came in the same time as Drax, in 73.
So she's been a while. The empath.
Yeah. Mantis was there, and Gamora came in after Star-Lord. So just a couple years. But I couldn't find where Rocket fit in the timeline.
I don't know.
So if anybody out there is or Blake, if you can find out the origin of Rocket, that would be great.
And that was the other thing with comics was, when you read them, and then they would give you the origin story of how these guys came about. Mm-hmm. Where did they evolve from? What was the precipitating incident that like Spider-Man got bit by the radioactive spider?
Yeah,
and Captain America was the chemical addition. They were trying to create the super soldier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and but they've done the movies so well. The Avenger movies were so great.
Yeah.
I pretty much watch all the series.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch the series. Loki's a little hard right now to watch. I don't know if you caught
I haven't done any of the Lokis, and I'm behind on the Thors.
They're doing so many of the jumping from universe to universe, and it's
gets confusing.
It's happening a little too much.
Yeah.
But when the first Iron Man came out, I was like, oh, they got something.
Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, Iron Man. I'm up to date on Iron Man, but I'm behind on the Thors, and the Avengers and the Endgame and they get a little confusing after a while.
With Iron Man, and this is where I think where they're trying to go with this. In Iron Man 3, there was the young kid that was that helped Tony, who was on the farm, who helped Tony and stuff like that. At the funeral, that kid was at the funeral. So I think that kid's going to become the new Iron Man.
Okay.
So I think I might have over-nerded myself right then.
Well, I don't know if
But
you
did
can.
you-
In this context, I don't know that we can.
Did you notice?
I did not. I did
there
not.
was one young person there that you kind of looked at and went, "Who's that?"
Now I got to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I will.
at Iron Man's funeral, there's that one kid, and he's from Iron Man 3.
Okay.
And he's the one who worked, and he was an inventor himself, and him
Tinker,
and Tony,
okay.
him and Tony worked together. So, but you know what? That's the end of our show.
Man, we need an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, that's the end of our show.
Holy cow.
All right. So
This was a fun one.
If you're
Not that they all aren't,
all right,
but this
I
was
can
a
tell
fun
you
one.
this: my favorite Marvel superhero that was created for the movies is Deadpool. That's
Okay.
sarcastic.
It's just too much fun.
Oh, he's just great.
you know.
It's just great.
Right. That's the question. Which came first, Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool? Because
Well, he kind of pushed it.
Absolutely. I
kinda
mean,
pushed it.
he's just too funny.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you to guys, everybody out there. If you would hit that share button, appreciate you guys. We have so much fun with this show. Again, our sponsors, Coquina Coast Realty, Abare Kresge Associates, the Roosevelt Room, Kaiser, Deli and Market, St. Augustine Pirate Museum, Meehan's Irish Pub, St. Augustine Distillery. Appreciate you guys so much.
And our wonderful producer.
And we have an amazing producer now, batting Blake Blevins. And if you guys have anything you want us to talk about, message us.
Yeah.
Message us on Bollox. We'll try and throw that in there. We've had some great suggestions through that. But this was a fun. We might have to come back to this one.
Hey, I got more. I got another box of comics at home that survived the flood.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
All right, this is Bollox Talks and Tangents, and we'll be back next week.
Peace out.
Bye bye.